Okay, next we're going to change out the tie rod ends on this 2000 Blazer. I wish I would have gotten this adjustment piece here, but I didn't, so I've got it all sprayed down with PB Blaster. I'm going to go ahead and try to get this off in one piece so I can measure it and try to get the new ones in length almost exactly. I'm still going to get new tires in alignment. That's what this is all about. I wanted to change out all these parts before I went to get an alignment, but so let's go ahead and see if we can crack this loose here. I could get the pipe, but I'm going to give it another shot here. Okay, this again was an 18mm, and all I had was a 3/8 inch socket that wasn't deep. So that's why we're using the 3/8 inch ratchet. I'm going to move the camera. Okay, see this one's got a cotter pin, so I'm going to have to remove that real quick. And both the new tie rod ends came with cotter pins, so I'm not sure why the inner one didn't have one, but okay, so on this outer one I'm just going to use the impact wrench just because I can and because it's fun. But obviously it's not required. The other one, the inner one, wasn't in so tight, so okay, I'm going to get the air hammer and the pickle fork kit and see if we can bust these loose. Alright, we'll try to get the inner one here first. I don't have my smaller fork because I lent it out with the hammer end. So we'll try this one first. Guess it worked. Let's do the outer one here. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just taken some spray paint, just anything I had laying around, sprayed on the threads here. I guess the idea is when I back these out of the adjustment mechanism, I'll be able to see the paint line and then measure it up to the new ones and try to get as close as possible. And of course you can also, you know, quickly take a real measurement and write that down as well. Okay, so these are 13mm, and I'm going to try to do it right here, but I may end up moving over to my shed where there's a vise. There's not much light out there for the camera, so if I do, I may not have that part of it on camera. So it's definitely easier to let the wrench go against the tie rod than it is to try to hold it and work the ratchet. Alright, so we have that loosened up, and again I may have to go put this thing in a vise to wind these out. Okay, so I got it apart. I did have to hit the vise so you guys couldn't watch, but just keep in mind that this one here, this inner tie rod end, is reverse thread. And then the other thing I just want to remind you, and I'm going to remind myself, that the money you save by doing jobs like this yourself more than pays for the tools and or parts that would make the job easier. So I should have just bought this. I believe these were less than $20 each for each side, so I'm doing both sides, and that definitely would have made the job easier. I could have put them together, lined them right up, and I wouldn't have had to mess with this. You can see these are pretty rusted. So okay, I'm going to grab the new pieces and start putting it back together and try to get the correct length as close as possible. Okay, again we're using the old one with a paint mark here as a guide. So this was wound in quite a ways. I'm just going to go ahead and wind this in. Okay, we'll wind the next one in here, the outer one. And this is obviously standard thread, or standard direction. So you go clockwise with it. And the reason why is so that when you go to get an alignment, when they use this adjustment mechanism, you know, if they were both the same thread, when you wound it, it wouldn't adjust at all. So when you turn this centerpiece here, having one be the reverse thread actually either winds it in or winds it out on both on both ends. So let's take a look. Another cool thing about using the spray paint is that I've got a little outline here, and it's not exact or anything, but I need to come in a little bit. I can tell that. Okay, so I made some minor adjustments with the tape measure, and I'm going to go ahead and put the grease zerks in and put the grease to it here while it's still out where I can get at it. It's 5/16 on these zerks. Alright, don't want to snap them off and you don't want to cross thread it, so I'm going to hit the grease to them here. I don't have very much grease left. Alright, so let's put it back together. I still have the adjustment piece loose here. Just I'm going to tighten it down once I get everything in place. On this new inner tie rod end, it's a 19 millimeter. On the one we removed it was, I believe, 18. And this one also has a cotter pin. Alright, before I tighten it down all the way, I'm going to go ahead and get the bottom one in. And the bottom one is a 17 millimeter, I believe, on this one. Alright. So you may have to turn the steering knuckle here a little bit, the hub assembly, to get that to seat down in. And with all my videos, I really don't know the foot-pounds of torque. I'm sure you can look that up. That's what your Google is for. I tighten it down so it won't come out, but I don't want to break it. Okay. Hit that with the smaller cotter pin. I've got to make sure I've got the hole in the right spot, or the castle nut rather, so I can get it through. And I did. And we'll tighten the top one here. And I can't exactly see where that cotter pin hole is, so let me poke around a little bit here. Alright, that one is a little tight. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and line this up as closely as possible using string and tape measure. Go ahead and do a quick YouTube search on how to line your vehicle using string, and I'm sure you'll come up with the same videos I found. Hopefully this video on how to change out your tie rod ends has been helpful. Good luck. Leave questions and comments below, and thanks for watching.